He used his staff to cover up a number of things that led to unnecessary deaths. Cuomo lied and people died. So let's go. I'm going to go over 5 lies that pertains to nursing homes today that I think many of us already know, but he is still in denial, and it's necessary that we call him out whenever he continues to lie because we must hold him accountable every single day. So, lie number one, they've always had accurate data. That's what the recent New York Times investigative report proved. They've had data that the Department of Health wanted to publish. There was a scientific report that included all the information that they felt the public should know last year. It was this administration that stonewalled and suppressed that data, not just once, multiple times over the last several months. They've had accurate data, but they're using that as an excuse. Cuomo today came out and said, well, we couldn't give it to you because it wasn't accurate. He said, well, people died in hospitals, people died in nursing homes, and we didn't know how to put that together. We know that they had accurate data because the moment that they lost the case against Bill Hammond at the Empire Center, and the moment that the state attorney general Tish James ordered the administration to hand over the deflated data, which was underreported according to Tish James by almost 50%, they did it in a matter of hours. They handed it over. So they were sitting on it and they made excuses after excuses, lies after lies. And we know we have various reasons why we think they did it. Some of us think that he was out there trying to chase down a $4 to $5 million book deal, and he wanted to make sure he could close that book deal. Some people also believe that there were corporate interests that relied on deflated numbers to protect their status in terms of policies, such as legal corporate immunity. If we had accurate data last year in June, July, we would have repealed the corporate immunity that was unnecessarily given, disincentivizing some of the worst nursing home operators from investing further into the facilities, buying more PPE and hiring more staff. So all those things still need to be sorted out, and we'll get to that truth sooner or later, and hopefully sooner. Line number two, Cuomo chose to publicize deflated nursing home death data. So what does this mean? This means that he committed fraud. This means that they knew what the accurate numbers look like. The New York Times again and a number of other publications have spoken out about this. Going back to last summer, the Department of Health, scientific reports have pushed to the administration, this is what the total death number looked like. They chose to ignore it. They chose to report out a deflated number. And he came to the public and had multiple public events, went on CNN, went on a number of national TV promoting a deflated number, pointing to a deflated, suppressed data that made him look good. And he also referenced it in his book that he wrote last year. So, regardless of if that discrepancy was later explained somehow, or even if it was included in the report in the back page somewhere in a footnote, if you are pointing at the main report, the front page that had underreporting of nursing home death, that is fraud. That is it is clear and cut fraud that led to unnecessary deaths. Because if we had the entire data set, the entire information in real time, again, we could have legislated differently. We could have the media, the public, the lawmakers would have come together and said something is not working in nursing homes. we need to shift gears, we need to change course, and we have to hold the governor accountable. And if we have put in bad policies like corporate legal immunity, we must repeal them. But he took away our ability to do that by deflating the life and death toll numbers last year. Line number 3. The administration never shared anything with lawmakers until February 2021. And the recent report shows that they intended to send us a letter, the Department of Health, that reflected the accurate nursing home death data that which we asked for in an oversight hearing last August in 2020, and it never got sent. We don't know who told the Department of Health not to send it, and we don't know why it wasn't sent, but they never shared any of that information with us. Later on, Cuomo again today explained that this issue was highly politicized. Secretary Melissa DeRosa in a private meeting also explained that they were playing political football, that Trump was tweeting, and they froze. They didn't know what to do. If they gave too much information to the Department of Justice, they would have used that to politicize the situation against the administration. In other words, they claim that the Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice, would have weaponized nursing home information to politically attack this administration. Now, there is a political reality and there is a legal reality. If I go to court and the judge happens to be a mean-spirited person, and I don't like him, I don't like his politics. I know a fact that he is from the opposite party, but I did something wrong, and he's asking for information, and he's asking for data or whatever so he can make a judgment on my court case. Am I not going to comply because I don't like the judge? I don't like the mean spirit of this person in front of me? It doesn't pass the legal test. Cuomo continues to say there were politics around this, but he is neglecting to tell the truth about what his legal obligation was as the governor, which is to tell the truth about life and death information and comply with the federal government, especially when the Department of Justice is seeking basic information to better evaluate whether the states were making deadly decisions at that time. Line number 4. They knew about how bad the nursing homes were. Cuomo's administration, Commissioner Zucker, Department of Health, they've had meticulous records going back years of the worst operators, of how horrible of a situation they were in, and how underprepared they were for this moment. They also were informed early last year, before the pandemic even took off, by the CDC that these facilities were vulnerable, that they need extra protection, and they need to be well staffed. We need to do whatever they can to safeguard them. This was back in February of 2020. Instead of going to the industry and holding them accountable, instead of going to an industry that's 63 to 65% for profits and telling the shareholders, the trustees, the board members that you have to spend every dollar you have to try to save lives, Cuomo listened to the lobbyists and went the opposite direction. He gave them a near blanket corporate immunity to the investors, to the shareholders, to the trustees, and framed it as a way to protect the workers, when in fact it undermined the workers' right to recourse, and obviously the patient and residents' recourse. Simply put, he took away people's rights at the peak of the pandemic to protect the corporate interest behind nursing homes. For that decision, he must be held accountable, and I know he will be held accountable in the near future.